let me officially welcome you to the 4th edition of the Data Innovation Summit here in Stockholm. We are pleased that Harnham is again with us, so welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so our third year. I think back to kind of 3 years ago, I think Keenan contacted Sabine when it was much smaller back then. I think it was 300 people, 400 people.
Yeah,
and
it
now
started
it's,
with 300.
Yeah, now it's, 1,800. So yeah, really good to be involved again, actually. It's exciting.
Yeah, so Alex, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and your organization in short?
Yeah, cool. So I look after Harnham's Europe practice, and Harnham are the world's largest pure data analytics recruitment company. So we specifically look after mid to senior level appointments within data across the US. So we have offices in San Francisco, New York, London, and we have an office just coming in Berlin as well. My focus is purely on the emerging European markets. So we have presence across Benelux, Spain, Germany, obviously Scandinavia, and those teams focus specifically within really niche sectors within data.
Great. So Alex, in general, we are here today to discuss about data innovation, analytics, data science, and of course, how to maximize the ROI from it. From a staffing point of view, how can the right team help maximize this ROI and actually help build all of this data-driven culture?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I think we're actually specifically doing some work today on diversity, and we do a lot of work on white papers. So we've done a lot of research and analysis over the years, and in terms of ROI, it all boils down to the team. So it's having a diverse team. It's actually having a team that, if you look at some of the research that's been conducted, companies with a female at the top in a board capacity outperform other companies by 26%. If you look at having a stable team, it increases retention, it increases the ability to work better on projects. And I think if you look at having a really good team in place with a really broad, diverse view of opinions, I think product development's better. They challenge the status quo. They focus on not just the norm. So I think if you've got a really diverse spread of people, really engaged team, then the product ROI tends to kind of follow in as well.
So, and I think there was this survey of the salary, but I'll get back to that. Yeah. There was also an important point of, so considering the speed at which the industry is growing, what do you think are the biggest threats to a company's continued successful pace and innovation? Of course, from your point of view, how can organizations ensure that they get the right team on board?
So I think it really boils down to having a really clear vision, a really clear idea of what that team looks like, and actually onboarding people, in terms of attracting them through the right channels, keeping them really engaged. If you look at kind of the average time a data scientist, for example, will stay in a job within Scandinavia, it's 18 months, so just between 18 months and 20 months. So typically product roadmaps will be delayed because people are leaving and they're bringing on new people. So having a really clear vision, having a really great place to work, being able to pay well, reward well, being really clear in the vision, I think that enables everyone to buy into that. So typically you'd have a much more stable team off the back of that.
Alex, if you don't mind, about the survey that I mentioned that Harnham has conducted. Yeah. It's one of its kind in the Nordics, so it's nice to hear more. If you could, please.
So I think 5-6 years ago, we launched a UK guide, and it was a salary benchmarking guide across all the disciplines we had. And back then there was just the UK. We now have that guide delivered across each one of our global markets, so the US, UK, and Europe. And specifically in Europe, and now obviously within Scandinavia, we survey all of our data professionals, and that comes down from either marketing to them, so people we speak to on a daily basis. We look at salaries, reasons they leave, reasons they joined. Last year we did that project on push and pull factors, so why you leave and why you join. And we're the only company in the world who do it. We have it, you can download it online. We're doing some data collection today as well. And actually, it's quite nice for people to look at their peers, look at the next step and say, well, am I being paid well enough? Am I not? Equally, the HR community love it, because I think when they're doing benchmarking, they come to Harnham and they say, look, can you send us your guide? So yeah, it's unique. There's a few kind of pretenders out there, but we generally try and push the boundaries of what we're asking as well.
Great. So one last question, looking at the data industry from a recruitment point of view, what trends can we expect in the near future, let's say a year? Everything is moving fast. So
definitely. I think, well, certainly I can talk from a European perspective. We've definitely seen a big shift in the contract market, whereas predominantly the businesses have grown by hiring permanent resource and keeping all their permanent heads in. Specialist specialist data practitioners are now saying, well, actually, I can set up these small consultancies and maybe practice, deep learning or machine learning or computer vision. And so we're seeing a big move in the contract market. We're also seeing loads of small software as a service businesses starting in data. So they're competing with, we've got big vendors here, and they're competing with them with their own little niche product. We're also seeing kind of the global markets becoming smaller. So what I mean by that is loads of companies want the same people. So actually they're having to be quite creative with the way they hire people. So they might be bringing people in from overseas. They'll be looking at English speakers. They'll be looking at visas. They'll be looking at, interviewing remotely. So there's a real big shift in just making the market more accessible. And I think in terms of that is, you're going to see, salaries are pushing up again, competition increasing. So I think the next few years there's going to be a lot of movement. And Scandinavia, just an example today, I think, you're going to see a lot of people moving and changing jobs. So, that's a good thing for us, I suppose. But, it's also challenging trying to control all these people. But
certainly you will give a hand in guiding them well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think whilst we do, obviously we're recruiters by day, that's our practice. We do consult businesses, we do advise on kind of hiring strategies. We look at kind of, what benefits packages, for example, we should be offering. And I think if you look at kind of retaining people, it's, what benefits do you offer? What businesses, what makes you different? Everyone, and that's on your point, is kind of what makes companies different. I'm a father of 3, and I look at a job and I think, well, what's the flexible working like? When you're a kind of young 20-year-old, it's kind of what's the money like? What's the opportunity like? So businesses are a lot better at that now, and the benefits are being adjusted. And I think Scandinavia lead the way in that. Globally, generally, it is the best market in the world for that work-life balance, but also the tech is unbelievable. So yeah, I think it's going to be a busy kind of few years ahead, I think.
That is really nice to hear. Alex, thank you very much. Thanks to Harnham for being with us this 4th edition, and thanks for conducting this interview.
My pleasure. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.